Today marks 1343rd day, share lessons I learn and continue to learn with you. I hope that these insights will inspire you, support your dreams, help achieve your goals, and really empower you to become the person that you want to become. If you want to become the person that you want to become, there's a few things that you need to work on. And today I want to focus on one small aspect. And if at some point it could be massive thing, how to stop tolerating what's killing your growth. How to stop tolerating. I think toleration and the topic of tolerating is such an important topic because if we tolerate the things that is killing our growth, that means it's be holding something is holding us back. So I don't love that saying that if you want to go up, you need to give up. And sometimes you need to give up the things that is actually hurting your growth. And today we'll share multiple things that and discuss exactly what do we need to really, how we need to, and what do you need to really stop tolerating and allow ourselves to really to give up on things that is not serving us and not allowing us to move to another level. So number one, identify your growth killers. So it means being able to ask the number one thing, what drains my energy? I think that is the most important resource in life is energy. Emotional energy, mental energy, um, even cognitive energy and physical energy. All the energy is important because and it's interesting because it doesn't matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter how much time you have. If you do not have energy and you laying down in the bed, it doesn't matter anything how much you have money or other resources. So energy hands down is the most important resource in life because when you have energy, you're able to have money, you're able to have achieve success. But without energy, it's very very hard to achieve. So that means you need to ask like, what is draining my energy now specifically, and stop tolerating that. There's other question you can ask like, what feels off? Maybe people, relationships. Where do you feel that something I'm not supposed to be there? That maybe in the environment, maybe in job. What is those kind of things that you potentially feels off? And maybe there is something that it's probably easiest to really see is what I have tendency to complain about. And again, when you find yourself that you complain multiple times, that is not a tendency anymore because I really learned that if you aware of your tendency, it's not a tendency or it's not a pattern, it's not a habit, it's a choice that you make. But we need to really choose not to tolerate that anymore. And if we catch ourselves complaining about something, we need to really make sure we stop tolerating that. Number two, understand why you have been tolerating them. And I think this is very, very important. Understand where that's what's the reason that you still tolerate it. That might be fear, maybe guilt, maybe the beliefs. But I think that's understanding that there is a reason behind that. And I think that is one thing that I really love when I think about um, the toleration is that we need to really name the hidden payoff. And I think that's some staying in the same place. It allows you to really not to pursue fear of unknown. So the payoff is that you don't need to really go outside of your comfort zone, even though that we want to get out of your comfort zone. But like there is some hidden payoffs a lot of times with the things that we tolerate. So we potentially could think about it. Why do I do it? What is the reason behind I'm tolerating? What are unintentional payoff of that? Because sometimes we will find that we are tolerating it because there is some payoffs that we are good at. Number three, decide what you will no longer accept. I think that this is it's a beautiful one. I think that the most important part is just really making that decision because there's a choice and decision, and there's a huge difference between a choice and there's between decision because 1,000 choices could not be as good as one big decision. For example, I made a decision never watch news. I made a decision never play games. I made a decision to do something. So that means I know that when I have an option to choose do it or not do it, I don't make that choice because by default, I don't do those kind of things. I don't watch TV shows. Not anymore. So I'm not tolerating myself to watch that. So that means I think that we're able to decide what we'll no longer accept from ourselves. I think that's very, very important. It might be that it's like this is a small things like TV shows, but like what kind of boundaries you can potentially create, what you will not tolerate in your life. And I think that in life, boundaries is very essential. Every single person is supposed to have boundaries, those non-negotiables. I mean, of course, we have those small things that we prefer, and then we have a list of non-negotiables that we will not accept, we'll walk away, because I'm very fast. Like if a person is acting a certain way, I better walk away. I don't want to create drama. I don't want to really think about it. I don't want to spend my mental capacity on something that is not serving me. So I better walk away. I better focus on something that really matters. So that means what I will not tolerate with myself as well. I think that scrolling mindlessly on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, this is not something that I tolerate from myself, and I think it's very important to really make the decision that you realize, okay, I'm not accepting to work in this job because maybe this job is suffocating me. I need to make a decision that I will not tolerate staying in a job that is not serving me and allow me to achieve my vision. Number four is replace tolerance with action. I think that is again a beautiful thing because we tolerate passively. Majority of times tolerance is passive. So what we're able to do, okay, I want to really replace it. So what I could do to replace this tolerance? A lot of times when you think about I will not tolerate something, that means that you will need to take action to really change that. For example, I said that I will not tolerate staying at this job. I will not tolerate the environment that I'm staying at the job. So that means that this that because you do not tolerate anymore, that means that require your action to take action to really leave the job, find another way of making income, and really build your skill set and really build yourself. That means that there will be a lot of action required to remove yourself from that things that is you do not tolerate anymore. Not every single time, but I think that we need to ask, okay, what do I need to do specifically? That what will be required of me when I will increase my standards? Because most of the time we stop tolerating it because we grew, we improved, we are much more wise. And I think we're supposed to be grateful that we're not tolerating something anymore because we are better than we used to be before. It's very powerful. Number five is build boundaries and systems. I think that's very important to understand that without boundaries and systems in place, it's very hard to really have sustainable uh, non-negotiables, sustainable things that you're able to tolerate. But now when you put boundaries and you explain those boundaries to people around you, you explain boundaries with yourself. Because sometimes we need to create boundaries for ourselves. That means if a person says that I don't eat sugar products, so that means when you go to a store, you don't even go to a sugar products aisle. This you have a boundary for yourself. I think that's very important to really have those boundaries. And why we need to really put ourselves in a position to really push ourselves in a position that you're able to make a wrong choice. I think at the beginning we're able to create systems in place that you allow us to really not tolerate things and really not even think about those things at all. And really remove those temptations and triggers from our lives as much as possible. And sometimes even have a coach or a friend or accountability friend that really could help you really stay in that game, stay in that life where you do not tolerate the things that is not serving you. And number six is that we need to reflect and adjust. I think that we sometimes do not tolerate, but life goes by and things change, and sometimes we start without even conscious decision, we start tolerating the things that we're not supposed to. So that means that we need to review every single month, every single week. Like, did they tolerate anything that I'm not supposed to tolerate? Did they start tolerating something that I'm not supposed to be? Or maybe I start tolerating again things. Because one thing is that when we see something that is not good, 1,000 times even more, we start to really normalize the things that we're not supposed to tolerate. We start to normalize. So that means we're able to ask ourselves, do they see this behavior 1,000 times so much that I start to normalize it? And when think about should I normalize it or should I stop tolerating it? And at that moment, you realize that there's a lot of things that looks normal, neutral, but they are things that is not serving us, and sometimes it's taking away from our goals. So we need to stop tolerating the things that we have done maybe 1,000 times, or maybe even seen by other people done 1,000 times, because that's a very scary place to be when you start tolerating bad things that have been done million times. And I think that's probably the final truth of this topic, and I think it's very, very important, is that you get in life, you receive in life what you tolerate. I truly believe that, because when I think about my life as well, like when I used to have a lower self-esteem, I used to get worse things. When I start to increase my standards, the things in my life got better. And I truly believe this is based on standards and the things that you tolerate. If you and when you have higher standards, you don't tolerate something. That means that, for example, I don't tolerate some unhealthy body. So that means that, of course, I will take exercise into the highest level because I want to make sure that I achieve health. So that means there are both ways I want to achieve health, but at the same time, I don't tolerate unhealthy body. So both of them are pushing to the same direction. So being able to have higher standards makes life better. And I hope that you reflect as well. What kind of things potentially you tolerating in your life that you're not supposed to tolerate? And that's going to be one additional thing that pushes you forward. But as I said, that having a healthy lifestyle is that you want to look good. That is a positive, but at the same time, it gets pushed at I don't want to be unhealthy. So that means almost regret or the things that you do not tolerate, the standard pushing you forward as well. And I think this is very good to have the more things pushes you forward, the better. So I hope you choose something and see you tomorrow.